Right, and we are live.
Great. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Sven Werman. I'm working in the Sales and Customer Success Department of CodeNotary and Opvizor. And I'm joined today by one of our engineers, Christaps.
Yes, thank you, Sven. My name is Kristaps, and I'm just an engineer working on Opvizor.
Well, thank you again for joining me. In today's webinar, we'll talk about the topic of VMware performance troubleshooting. For that, we'll cover the key areas of VMware troubleshooting and demonstrate how Opvizor simplifies this process for you. Getting started with Opvizor is incredibly easy. Simply import our OVA template into vSphere, and within 10 minutes, you'll start seeing data from your environment. However, we won't cover the setup part today, because that could feel quite boring to you, viewers, and even if it only takes 10 minutes. But we can definitely point you to our video guides and manuals on our webpage, opvizor.com, for that purpose. So to give you the overview today, we will first do a quick refresher on vSphere and virtual machine clusters. And afterwards, we'll give you some troubleshooting use cases. Before we end, we will do a short insight into capacity planning. Now, with that, let's dive in. So, just for people who aren't fully in the topic or for whom it has been a while, Kristaps, can you give us a quick overview of a vSphere?
Sure, let's do that. Let me switch to our Opvizor environment so that it's more colorful than just a slide. Let's start with this quick vSphere refresher. So remember that we have ESXi hosts pulling the resources, clusters for high availability, as well as virtual machines running on top of all of this. So performance problems often arise from misconfigurations at any layer that I mentioned previously. Misallocated resources, network congestion, or even storage issues lurking beneath the surface. All of this in a high level can be found within the starter pack dashboards for the Opvizor. So here on my screen, you can see one of the starter dashboards for the vSphere overview. We get back to this in a minute, but just to show you how we have structurized the Opvizor environment, here we can see our list of starter dashboards. And if we go one step back to the root folder, you'll find plenty of areas where to focus with specific needs. So let's say you want to go to the starter dashboards. There's a folder for that containing all the starter dashboards for the VMware specifically. If you want to focus on performance issues, there's a specific folder for collection of VMware performance dashboards, as well as if you want to do capacity planning, just simply type search for the capacity and you'll get there easy. So let's go back to the VMware starter dashboards and let's dive in, right? So Sven, what do
Yeah.
you want to know?
So, additionally, we talked earlier that we wanted to have a short look into virtual machine clusters. Could you tell me a bit more about that and how Opvizor ties into that topic?
Of course, yeah. So clusters are great for resilience, but they also need careful balancing. So if one host gets overloaded, virtual machines will definitely suffer. So, and of course, VMware ships their own tools. You might know, there are distributed resource schedulers and distributed power managers, which helps you to balance resources across the clusters.
Mhm.
But it's not always good when you have complicated environments, like for example, nested clusters. And always, it's a key to actually understand those tools. And this is actually where Opvizor shines. With these dashboards, with the overview dashboards specifically, we aim to give a simplified view on a broader surface. So let's say in this dashboard, we have a simple vSphere overview telling us how many vCenters we have in your infrastructure, how many clusters we have, up to how many virtual machines we are running, and along with the data stores attached as well. So later on, here in the cluster overview, we can see how balanced are our workloads across different clusters. So let's say the one on the left, it has memory usage already up to 86%, where on the other side, the other cluster is only consumed 21% in memory. So it's definitely more space in this one on the right one. So we may want to balance the workloads when we have a chance to do that. Then, of course, we have a section for where we can look at provisioned resources and see whether some parts are actually not getting over provisioned, right? So if we do a quick refresh, we'll see attached data stores as well. Of course, there are other sections down here. We might not be able to look into every specific area, but definitely Opvizor provides great overview from where you can dive deep further on.
Thank you very much. So how about now we start by talking about the troubleshooting for ESXi hosts? Could you give us some more information on that topic?
Definitely, yeah. So we can go to the starter dashboards folder, and we go to ESXi host troubleshooting here. And in ESXi troubleshooting, the overview page will give you a list of ESXi hosts in your infrastructure, and along with that, you'll see how busy are those hosts. For example, here you can see that we have 3 ESXi hosts in your infrastructure, and we also see virtual machine allocation on each of those. So we also see current metrics, average, and the maximum that the Opvizor has seen during the past 24 hours currently. If you take a look at other time frame, we may see a different picture, but the key is that all the important metrics are here. All your ESXi hosts infrastructure is here. As well, key thing to mention is that you will see top virtual machines which are consuming the most resources, and you can easily link them with specific ESXi hosts here. So if you want to go into further drill down for the performance of the ESXi hosts, we can follow the links that we provide in the dashboards. And this would take us down to the VMware performance for the ESXi host. And in this dashboard, I actually have pre-filtered specific ESXi host that I was interested in on the previous dashboard. And of course, here, standard metrics like memory and CPU usage comes along, but also this dashboard would give specific focus on further key elements when you want to troubleshoot the ESXi host performance. So, for example, one thing is VM kernel queue, where commands wait before execution, and this can become a bottleneck actually if the latency spikes up. This is in this case, it's not that much, but it could be a problem, and could be one of the key areas that you want to look into once visiting the performance troubleshooting area in Opvizor.
So you're saying that could be something that impacts your performance very negatively.
Exactly. It could become quite nasty, and it could impact lots of virtual machines, as this is the shared area for all of the virtual machines hosted on the specific ESXi host. Also, another thing that I might mention at this point is that you can also take a closer look at particular spikes with the capability of Grafana features, where we host all of these panels. So you can dive deep into specific areas and see specific values back in the time where it actually spiked. So another thing, if we go back to standard 1 hour time frame, is the network adapter latency. which is, of course, the key for ensuring good performance in terms of network bandwidth for all of the virtual machines hosted in ESXi host, and even for the virtual machines to reach out the external resources. So yeah, that's what you can drill into using the performance dashboard, and of course. It could be your daily routine when you check all of these issues, but it also could be your way out for production for a new service. So, for example, if you're provisioning something new and would like to release it, Opvizor can come in handy to actually do monitoring while you do performance or load test on that service. So, it would definitely help to visualize all the spikes, all the latencies that the service suffers.
Yeah, and that would also help you avoid nasty surprises later when the service goes live.
Exactly.
Another thing that would be very interesting as well would be if we talked a bit about network troubleshooting. So why is network troubleshooting important, and what is the thing that makes Opvizor so special in that regard?
Yeah, so regarding the network, of course, we all know that there is this ping tool which sends ICMP requests and receives responses. And that's just sometimes enough for basic network connectivity troubleshooting, but of course, it doesn't tell the whole story. So lost packets, latency spikes, and jitter degrade application performance, as you know. So with Opvizor, we have created two interesting dashboards, which we call Network Compass. So let's navigate to those. So in Network Compass, we aim to visualize east-west and north-south traffic inside our ESXi ecosystem, I would say. So traditional tools often solely focus on north-south traffic, which is connectivity using the physical network for reaching out to external resources. But what about east-west? So that's about virtual machine to virtual machine communication. And it could be quite crucial for some specific configurations. For example, let's say that you have your infrastructure, which consists of several ESXi hosts. On one of the ESXi hosts, you have deployed your database clusters, and on the other ESXi host, you have some applications that are actually using and connecting to that database cluster. And imagine how the communication goes in terms of networks. So for the application virtual machine, the traffic goes out of the ESXi host, then travels to the physical network, and goes into another ESXi host. So of course it works, but depending on the workload, it could cause issues and bottlenecks on your physical network connectivity. So remember that if you have closely related workloads, you could better place them on the same ESXi host rather than distribute them across several ESXi hosts. So in this case, this Compass dashboard would help you to identify these issues. For example, I can see only one virtual machine using physical network connectivity in our case, which is our OpenSense firewall. And that makes sense that it actually provides connectivity to the outer network, where in virtual network use case, we see that, of course, other virtual machines do that. They use virtual network and they are deployed within the same ESXi host. So that is, well, that is what it should be. On the other hand, here, as I mentioned, only OpenSense shows some traffic, others are zeroed out. So that's one thing. If we want to go further on and see virtual machine specific details, we can use the other Network Compass dashboard, which would give us a bit more colorful view in terms of every virtual machine. For example, we can filter out, let's say, our GitLab and GitLab Runner, and actually see how they actually perform in terms of north-south or east-west traffic within our ecosystem.
Thank you very much for that in-depth insight. Another thing that I would identify as very critical to my virtual infrastructure would be snapshots. So how can we help you manage your snapshots as a user of Opvizor to optimize your virtual environment?
Well, snapshots are always a challenge, especially if you don't have them, right? So let's go to another dashboard that we have here in Opvizor in capacity section. So and the key thing is in this dashboard is actually not somewhere here on the top. Of course, you can see here the total virtual machines that you are running, the snapshot size in total across all the virtual machines. But I want you to focus on this small panel here. Probably that's an improvement on our end to actually make it bigger and make it on top or in the center, as this would show you how many virtual machines are actually not protected by the snapshots. So in this case, we see that we have 52 virtual machines that are not backed up. We have only 7 with the backups. And if we go even further, we can use this panel here, which would indicate that actually most of the virtual machines have pretty old snapshots. Some even have snapshot for more than 1 year old. So that shouldn't be your live environment for sure. For us, it's our demo ecosystem that is fine. We can manage it. We are aware of the risks, but I wouldn't be happy to see this picture in your production.
Oh, for sure. Another question that I have would be infrastructure planning, because we've talked a lot about, what we can monitor with Opvizor, how it can help you be aware of what is currently going on in your environment. But it would also be very interesting to explore how we can help you optimize your environment and prevent future bottlenecks.
Exactly. That's one of the key things that Opvizor also focuses on. So we have a few planning dashboards available to help you with that. So I'm going to open one and show some insights regarding our current standing in terms of capacity for our current demo cluster. So in this case, of course, it's quite busy, as you can see. So it's 90% for the capacity already, nothing much left. But how to read it, basically on the right, on this panel, you can see that there is 3.45 spaces or VM slots left for your further virtual machines that you would want to put there. And it's basically calculated on average resource allocation for the rest of the virtual machines that you are currently running online. So it gives you a quite, in that kind of terms, quite precise number that you can use and plan your infrastructure. And of course, there are 2 areas. One is the performance resources, compute resources in this panel. And the other part, of course, is your storage. So how good you are on the storage at the current point. So yeah, planning should never be forgotten, and I guess it's better to do it proactively than reactively once you actually are out of resources already.
Absolutely. Well, for today, that is it for our insights. Anything that we've demonstrated, you can also see for yourself on the demo environment, which is, as you can see on the top of the screen, demoml.codenotary.io. To conclude, Opvizor provides you with an overall and deeper understanding of the present and future needs of your virtual environment, so you can easily manage your infrastructure and save time and effort on troubleshooting. Opvizor can also assist you, as we've just demonstrated, by providing you with a better idea of the present hardware circumstances and future bottlenecks of your virtual infrastructure. Because we understand that every organization has different needs, Opvizor is offered both as a on-prem deployment for full control or a cloud-based version for a rapid setup and ease of management. Get your first insights into your own virtual environment and the value that you can get from Opvizor by downloading our free test or by contacting us for more information or an individual appointment with one of our experts. You can do all of that on our webpage that you can see on your screen right now, opvizor.com. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention, and see you next time. Goodbye.